Let us move on, guys, with the same method. Here we are looking at a different case where now A is different from 1, but positive. In the next case, we will look at A different from 1, but negative. So two different cases, but principle essentially the same. So let's look at this. Remember what I said? You need to factorize when A is not 1, and you do this first of all by the highest common factor method. So I'm going to take out 2 here. So this is equal to 2. And then what I'm left with x squared. I put a negative. Now what is 8x divided by 2 is not 6, sorry, my bad, 4x plus, now 6 divided by 2 is just a 3. Now all I've got to do is to actually factor out now this trinomial here, and I'm going to use the portion law method. Of course, guys, I know some of you are quite really fast at this stuff. You already know the traditional methods that are being taught, but I'm doing this for someone who's really always been struggling to get these factors right. And I'm saying to such someone, you don't need to worry about those factors anymore. Just learn this process. You will be forever okay. So I now have to work on that, and this is actually x squared minus 4x plus 3. Now, I know that the sum has got to give me 4. Okay? Notice it's always the opposite sign of b, or of the coefficient of x. Coefficient of x is negative 4. When I look at the sum, I want a positive 4. Product, this should always be the constant term, that is 3 in this case. Then I know I'm going to take the sum and divide it by 2, then add a certain number for my first value, take the sum again, divide it by 2, then subtract that same number. And you can see this simplifies nicely. Maybe I can just write now here for you, say 4 divided by 2 is 2, so I have 2 plus u as my first number and 2 minus u as my second number. Then I know for a fact that the product of these two numbers should give me a 3 in this case. So I'm going to work with the product here. And you know the product will always give you the difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to have 4 minus u squared is equal to 3. Guess what? I have 1 equals to u squared. As I said, I'm going to pick the positive solution. So I'm going to take u equals to 1. Maybe I should write here, take u equals to 1. What does this mean? It means that my numbers are as follows, and I'll use a different color for this. Therefore, I know my first value will be 2 plus u, which is 2 plus 1, and this is 3. The second value will be 2 minus u, which is 2 minus 1, and this is actually 1. I don't know why I didn't want to write 2 there, but this is 1. Now, how do I factorize? Well, I've got to do just the reverse of what happened here, thinking about the zero product rule. So I'm going to say, well, if x1 equals to 3, then that means x minus 3 is a factor of my expression. Similarly, if x2 is 1, then x minus 1 is also a factor of my expression. Therefore, the expression x squared minus 4x plus 3 actually factors into x minus 3, x minus 1. Now, I can write and say, well, this is 2 into x minus 3, x minus 1. And I am done. That's it. You have solved without having to guess the factors of 6 that will give you the best possible combination. I hope you are finding this interesting, but also as a breakthrough to your factorization nightmare. Stay tuned for the next case of these trinomials. Cheers.